Hello, 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 YouTube. It is great to be with all who join me. And I am going to actually be touching on the second survival archetype, which is the child. And I can honestly say that my inner child has been very active for the last couple days with the new moon that happened over this weekend. So if you are feeling the energies of this time, then and so I wanted to actually touch on the video that I had started with a little girl named Grace, who is absolutely wonderful. And she joined me to give the introduction to the inner child. And basically, this archetype establishes our perceptions of life, safety, nurturing, loyalty, and family. For me, that ties into the base chakra, which is all about our sense of belonging in this world, our place in this world, and how safe we feel within it. So, one aspect of the child archetype, and also remembering that it is also the guardian of our inner sense, inner sense, innocence. What are we saying is something to just kind of run through our mind when we're saying words. What's the word play? How can we play with it? And how can we bring that magical aspect of everything into the now moment where all our power lies? The core issue of all the child archetypes is dependency and responsibility. When to take responsibility, when to have a healthy dependency, when to stand up to the group, and when to embrace communal life. So it certainly sounds very akin to what is happening now with everything going on, where we have parental substitutions in terms of de facto government because we are not choosing to lawfully self govern until we claim the right to do so and then enforce that right too. So, this archetypal pattern brings you into contact with the untapped resources connected to creative thought. As the guardian of your innocence, the child helps heal, repair, and put a stop to the inner directed abuse of the wounded child. The child often inspires you to act outside restrictive boundaries or to explore an adventure without the burdensome weights of the adult mind. Without a connection to the fantastic, magical realm, hopes and dreams are hard to envision. So, that was what I wanted to read from Caroline Myss's Sacred Contracts book, but I also want to read you a story, which I felt was very appropriate given that it is about the child, and who doesn't like to have a story read to them, right? So this is actually from a book called The Game of Quantum Syntax Grammar, a guide for getting started by James-Merle Cloud. So huge thank you to him for writing it. And I will also say that whenever I hear him, I think MYMN, because it is the universe that we are living in, the one verse of song. So if we actually think in those terms, we see that hymn is all about how we harmonize with one another and add that extra E to humanity, of which we are all part. So with that, I will start the chapter on ultimate jurisdiction. Juris and diction meaning the court that we choose to allow to govern us. And we can be the kings and queens of that court, or we can be the jokers, or we can be the pawns. And there are other characters in the chess game, and ultimately we get to choose if we are willing to take personal responsibility, the ability to respond for what we are choosing, and to not just allow others to govern us without thinking of who benefits and how it impacts us. So, on that note, here we go. Internal contracts, the problem with the human mind. This is about 15 pages, so just so you're aware, it is a phenomenal story. I got this book Saturday, and on Sunday I finished it. So it's short, it's sweet, it's full of good stuff. It's an intro to why now, where we are living all moments, is our most powerful position. So, on what great spiritual battlefield have we arrived? What great role is ours to play? Are there rules of engagement set in advance for it? Some years ago, my quiet times were filled with noise, thinking that would not stop. When I said no to the fears, it grew quiet briefly, but then the regrets came rushing in. When I asked for guidance, I was shown something about the mind which has helped me understand. Joy is not the intention of the mind, nor is peace its priority. In short, there are contracts being offered us in our minds that we accept without question, offers to engage in mental conversation that take thinking off into the past, regret, or future, anxiety, that is negative and leaves us feeling bad, out of bounds in the mental court. These negative, time bound offers to contract are by design. It's part of a survival program we have, but it can be changed. It's a matter of recognizing what is taking place. By way of explanation, I provide a story to you. So, there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves. Job 1:6. Many beloved of the Creator Great Spirit are gathered at the throne, and you are there. Great One, you say, if it pleases you, I may travel to galaxy FA 429 to be of service there. That would be good, the Creator says, though better once you've had some experience with the realities that dimension holds. They are learning lessons about justice there. What do you know of that? Justice? Well, tell me about forgiveness. What? Tell me about mercy. You're not ready yet. Help me to understand. Those who inhabit that galaxy are spirit beings. I have provided bodies, physical carriages in which to move about. But why do that? It provides them a mystery to work out. What sort of mystery? Remembering who they are. Once past infancy, they become oblivious of their spirit nature, so that they believe they are their bodies, and only that. It's their favorite mystery game to play, to see if their spirit nature will become clear. Mysterious indeed, but do they finally? But they do finally, right? Some do, not all. For some, it is a simple story to be told on a parent's knee. For others, a puzzle they must work out, an intention they lay hold of, for the sake of having peace at last. Why only then? Suffice it to say, the body becomes the focus of their lives. The body must be maintained alive at any cost. The survival of the body is the primary survival plan. Though you mean for them to have a body? Yes, and I mean for them to find their spirit life again. Why would that be hard? The body develops its own survival plan that makes a lot of noise. It develops a mental program devoted solely to its physicality, self-centered, negative, time-bound. This interferes with spirit receptivity, blocks them from the spirit source. I am for them, as I am for you. It can be changed, the blocks unblocked. Oh yes, I send messengers to them with the keys for it. Some take the keys in hand, others continue in their chains of physicality. Thinking that is negative? Why that? The initial survival plan is one as an infant has devised. Those early days in a body are a time of total helplessness, a quest for control, how to make the help come when one's needing it. Any control at all, and none is to be had. What's to be done? After a while, even before thinking in words is happening, there is the beginning of a solution in place. Cause and effect has put a survival plan in reach. Which is what? Feeling bad. Why that? Because that's how the baby is feeling when the help arrives: cold, hungry, wet, feeling bad, 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 worse, worse, until arms reach out from above to have the discomfort end. 6 times a day, cause and effect sets in, enough for the mind to make a plan of it. Once it has a tool it needs. What tool is that? Thinking. Thoughts can create feelings. Thoughts can manipulate emotions on demand. Is one in need? Send in some thinking to have one feeling bad. Shame, blame, guilt, regret, and fear. Help should soon be on its way. Does that work? No, but they've survived this long. Why question it? Some get past all that? Yes. They decide they want some quiet. When there's little to be found, they wonder why. Perhaps they find the keys I send, for glimmers of spirit light to be discovered, their true reality. To discover my own plan for them to be in touch with me again, to be spirit-led instead of victims of their mind. To embody spirit while they're there, what they truly are and are meant to recognize again. To be the spirit keys I hold out to all the rest. Would it help if I were there? It would, though better if you have some training in the process first. Develop character is a way of putting it, and since the concept of justice is of interest, that's a major theme in one other galaxy, as you certainly are aware, the matter of the messenger, angel, rebellion. You might begin by going there. For some finer points of justice I am placing on display. Justice is in question there. It may cease to be. Why? The spirit war is underway on one small planet. Rules of engagement require justice be maintained for those desiring it, though it's also a rule that darkness can overtake the light if it's allowed. Deception is the way the enemy's allowed to work. Darkness can be thrust back, though only by one's intending it. I would do that. Most surely so. Let me go there. Go then. Forget who you are and start the process of recovery. Your intention to retrieve your spirit light shall be the goal, though a goal you'll initially forget. So to be a light, to thrust the darkness back, I am with you, even when you have forgotten me. Forget you? Never. Rules are rules. I shall dispel the mental program that attempts to hold me bound as time goes by. Time? Now is easy here. Though there, a narrow path you'll learn to tread. I shall send my spirit of truth to guide you in the options of each moment's path, for you to desire to know the narrow path. You'll hold my power as you learn to release the carnal body mind, for you to exercise my dominion as one of my priest kings there, bearing my image and carrying my authority in increasingly continuous contact with me for provision and strength, one of a kingdom of priests after the order of Melchizedek, my kingdom of righteousness, lights set on a hill in a land where darkness dwells, in whom my anointing and my presence goes. Here, watch as I send a counselor to one man there. He's indulging in a moment of intense regret, blaming himself for his camel business that has met with no success. Bulky beasts, they've not proven very profitable. The Creator waved a hand for the vision on the far-off planet, to be clear. The closet of regrets. Dumb, 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 the man. Dumb, 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 the voice in the man's head said. Dumb indeed, he agreed, then dove deep inside himself to open up his closet of regrets to throw the camel business in, taking mistakes from the ancient shelves to feed the stew of misspent energies. Then the friend in search of him. Who are you talking to in there? Myself. Who's that replying to you then? Me. Well, send one of those yous out to talk with me. He came out into the light of now. "Which is it?" the friend inquired. "The one talking or the one who makes reply? One of you is clearly an impostor, yes? Hmm. Why do you go to that closet of regrets? To become a better person, I suppose." "Exactly so. How else would you improve? And that's the least of it." "What do you mean?" "Perfection is required. No less than that will do. There's a judge you've installed inside yourself to oversee improvement's course." "I did." "How else shall the mind be pleased?" "Now you're making jokes." "I'm not. Improvement is a must for your survival's sake, and you've enthroned a judge to see to it. Though not a judge that's needed now, or even qualified. Meant for another time so long ago, but ruling still. Help me understand. Watch. Time peeled back, and he was an infant in the crib again. Standing over him were those on whom he was dependent for his warmth and sustenance, saying things he didn't understand and sending out emotions in brief storms. Soon he was hungry and wet and getting cold and powerless to have it otherwise. So he oodled out his few requests. "Please do something." His spirit flew to them. He'd made it well before, but they were slow, so he began to cry. And cried, till finally the hands reached downward from above. "I'm feeling worse and worse until help arrives," he said as he watched, as though feeling bad accomplished it. Ever greater unpleasantness until, there's suddenly relief, and that's still in effect today. Is it? Why would it change? When week after week, feeling bad has done the job, it becomes habitual. Come, take another look inside the baby's mind. "Why do they take so long?" the baby's mind inquired, though not in syllables. "I'm clearly responsible. What must I do to have them come? I must be good enough somehow, must find a way for pleasing them." So improvement became the goal. The man clasped his head. If the baby could please them, perhaps they would respond. That's it. If they aren't to the rescue right on cue, it's certainly the baby's fault. Now see what he does. As he watched, a subpersonality took charge, setting up ideals to oversee improvement's task. Ideals still in place today, the friend explained. "Which are what?" "You don't remember." "No." "Then how will you possibly live up to them?" "How indeed?" "You won't. The body-mind is in control of the task, and it's not consulting you. It still thinks you're small. You may never know what you've done wrong, what ancient ideal you have transgressed. Every negative thought and situation conceivable will be decreed ad infinitum to the grave, and the cruel emotions that they touch, all designed so you'll be feeling bad. Isn't feeling bad what always happens before relief arrives? And then you beat yourself up, finding fault and taking blame, struggle and suffering, with always something that's gone wrong and something next expected to. One drama to the next, and you'll be urgent to improve, to meet some fuzzy, far-off goal. A hopeless task. The standard can't be met. You're seeing it. Though your survival depends on it, your very identity, in fact. One of you, at least. Which one is that, do you suppose? The body-mind. An imposter at the helm, just as you said. A phantom self. Why should he give that up? I'll tell him to. Good luck. I shall escape. Oh, the infant mind sees you as the body and keeps you anxious all the time with thoughts concerning it and the feelings they create. You've been convinced you are a wave, subject to the emotional weather thinking makes. Though provided a goal, of course, access to the eternal peaceful sea one day when you're worthy of that feat, once you've sufficiently improved. So far away, those sacred depths. What's to be done? You meet the body-mind head on where it's so entrenched, where feelings live. It's not expecting that you'll be victorious. Here's what to do. Be in the present moment, aware of whatever is. Any voice you hear inside that's less than loving is the body mind. If thoughts lack compassion, rouse fear, shame, blame, regret, you know it's time to act. Cut the inner conversation off and notice how you feel. I'll feel bad. Of course, just as the body mind intends, so help will come. Now comes your new response. Turn the regrets into victories. How do I do that? This situation you regret. Would you do it the same way next time? No. So then, growth has occurred. You've matured. In this, you may rejoice. Take a moment to celebrate. You must feel to have it work. The real work happens then. All right, I'm celebrating the progress made in my maturity. You made an error in judgment, true, but that's all part of learning, yes? Feel gratitude for the wisdom you fully acquired. Be sure to feel it. Being grateful, yes. Now take the emerald vial of joy from your feelings shelf, the one holding happy moments stored away, special times when life was in flower and summer at its height. Feel one or two of those for joy's energy to work its change. For this moment now is one of them. Moments of delight, I'm feeling them. Regret cannot stay. It's overwhelmed. Where is it now? Gone. Discomfort dwelled alone in its grim pool. Then you poured other feelings in, victory, gratitude, joy. With each addition, it was changed, no longer what it was before, as when ink and water mix. Now inform the body mind, there's no more need to be feeling bad. Now it's to be feeling good. Ah, events you've been pushing away can be accepted now. To revisit or not as you may choose, no longer at effect of them, but at cause instead. No more trouble from now on from those sad memories? Why would there be for events you've declared victories? So there's the key, the man thought. The feel-bad habit set up during infancy so we'd survive. No wonder our spirit wings get tangled so. He had to wonder, though, is this some sort of game life plays? Such mental cruelty. Are we meant to think it through if we're not told? Does life provide no antidote? The work with feelings may provide some brief escape, but what of those for whom the mischief of the mind remains unknown? It was a lovely day, so he went down to the market square to watch the people come and go, lovers hand in hand, lost in their own world, little girls conversing with their dolls, mothers cooing to their children, their joy complete, people with their pets, such happiness they'd found, open and free. He closed his eyes and went inside, took his questions there. Are we to be abandoned here, constrained forever in self-centeredness, this tyranny of the body-mind, the way it hijacks awareness with a phantom self? And the answer came. Do you believe indeed you're left here with no antidote? Consider these along the square, the ones you say are free, their hearts big as the sea, so expanded by their care for someone else, what you call love. Love is what calls us present, back to this present now moment where all time is happening, where all of our power exists. The child is in the past, feeling fearful or anxious about a future that has not yet come, that will only be created and influenced by this present now moment that we are living. And I'm not claiming perfection, nor to fall into the patterns of the body-mind that take me to a different time of creation, where I react instead of create. And yet, then it is my responsibility with this knowledge, and now you too, with this knowledge of the game of quantum syntax grammar, that actually being from the Closet of Regrets is included in James-Merle Cloud's book, King Alexander's Gold. So, author James St. Cloud designed around a main character, a crusader knight who is living the qualities, as I understand them, of a priest king according to the order of Melchizedek. So, I wanted to bring that to you tonight because it is so profoundly significant and relevant to the child archetype, that ultimately we have a responsibility to mature and to grow up responsibly, helping it bond so that we are able to do something different from what we've always done in order to get something new that we've never had before. So I wish that creativity for you. I hope that this was significant and helpful in this second episode of the child archetype. And if you haven't already checked out the first one that 6-year-old Grace and I did on the weekend, I would love for you to give her a shout out when you do, because that would mean so much to her, I'm sure. And I appreciated her being willing to be present in the now moment with me without any rehearsing or any idea of what we were going to do. She just said, yes, let's do it, and wanted to have fun with me and sing some songs too. So may you desire to do that same thing, remembering that de in French is of, and sire is to give birth to. So what our desires are, that our heart is putting into the field, that we have an opportunity to then draw back to us. And if we are in fear, we will send that out and get that back. But if we send out love, creativity, if we send out what is good and what we desire truly, true lie, then we are able to experience the lie that we make true, because we do understand our creative potential. And with that, I command you to go off and have a great day, or whatever you want to do. Just enjoy some play and say namaste, Laura J. Have a good one. Thank you.